Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty and Patch 2.0 cap off an incredible comeback, offering up new paths, abilities, skill trees, and releasing alongside a transformative patch. Phantom Liberty kicks some serious ass. This review will be a mix. It's 2.0 and what's new in the expansion, along with my impressions. Spoiler light, of course. So let's get into this in this updated review of Cyberpunk 2077 and Phantom Liberty. Cyberpunk is a massive open-world RPG game played from the first-person perspective. One of my earliest reviews covered on this site was for the Series X version of the game at launch, and I loved it. This, of course, was before everyone saw just how broken it was on the earlier generation consoles of the Xbox One and PS4, and in truth, there was quite a bit missing as well, there being no police system, poor driving mechanics that didn't really exist either, easily exploitable leveling mechanics that trivialized combat a bit but made me feel super strong, and a few more things. It was a mostly great game with some serious faults, and in the nearly 3 years since launch, the devs at CD Projekt Red have been working hard to finally deliver the game that their executives promised. First up, we have all the major changes that came on September 20th in Patch 2.0. Redesigned skill trees and perks, a new cyberware system, improved combat AI, an actual police system, vehicle combat and chases, numerous UI and user experiences fixes, redone crafting, and 3 new radio stations. So everyone for free got those on September 20th, and they are transformative to how the experience of the base Cyberpunk experience is. Night City was always an incredible sight to behold, and a place I did want to live in. With these various improvements and brand new systems, it feels like I finally can. I hope that modders pick up the abandoned Cyberpunk 2077 online game themselves to build something wonderful around all of these new mechanics, as this is the latest and maybe last major patch released by CD Projekt Red for free in their continuing efforts to turn the game into what their executives and marketing had promised us back before launch in 2020. Performance on both Series X, which was my main platform for the review, and PC were fantastic. On PC, I'm running a 5800X and 7900 XTX, and I was able to hold a consistent 60 FPS at max settings and high ray tracing while using FSR 2.1. Series X was mostly consistent outside of the most hectic, smoke, and particle-filled areas. The game is still stunning, with some of the best character models you'll find around. Whether you're 5+ playthroughs deep, haven't played since launch, or are still yet to even try it, this is finally the time to play Cyberpunk 2077, and of course, it's coming out in the middle of one of the busiest and greatest years of video game releases ever. Phantom Liberty itself, though, alongside Patch 2.0, is the one and only expansion for Cyberpunk 2077. V and Johnny find themselves recruited to Dogtown, where they are tasked with saving the President of the new United States after her plane crashes in the district. That is the starting premise of the expansion, and I won't go much further into detail on the story itself. Suffice it to say, it is a political spy thriller where you'll meet Idris Elba's impeccably acted Solomon Reed, and over the course of anywhere from roughly 5 hours if you really want to mainline it, to over 25 hours depending on just how much of the excellent side content you want to do, you will shape the future of all those involved with choices that deeply impact where the story goes. Again, no spoilers, just know that when there are major choices that are obviously coming up, you'll want to do a hard save. I went back after seeing the game's new ending, but I played things out completely differently, finding myself playing through multiple incredibly long and amazing main quests that led to an entirely different outcome. Just getting to that point can play out wildly itself depending on your actions and your skill checks you can pass. The new ending goes alongside my favorite from the main game, being a pretty darn satisfying conclusion to things if you choose to go down that particular path. For those who do purchase Phantom Liberty or already own it from the Season Pass, you'll get the following: access to the new district of Dogtown, the expansion's main and side quests, tons of new gigs and boss fights, vehicle missions, which are a bit repetitive but highlight the new combat system really well, the relic tree, tons of new weapons, cyberware, cars, and more, and the level cap gets raised up to 60. Dogtown itself is a mix of beat-out old war zones and thriving clubs and hotels. It's a nice mix of the desert and happening areas prevalent around and in Night City, while still maintaining a feeling of its own. The relic skill tree adds some fun changes to a few of your abilities, though nothing too major. The choices are a little limited, and the way you can find them is kinda boring. You'll have to run around Dogtown listening for a certain chime, and then the final 3 points are tied to main quest progression. I hit level 50 by the time I wrap things up, having used my review save file from a few years ago. Even max level, I still ran into numerous tough fights, and you can choose to just load a new generic save directly to level 20 if you want to get to Phantom Liberty from the main menu. If it's your first time playing the game or you just feel like it, you have to clear the first act of the game to gain access to the expansion, and it is pretty smoothly added into the rest of the game. One path allows you to keep playing after, while the other is a point of no return, similar to the original main quest. And also, without spoiling too much, the new characters in the game, from the President to Idris's character and more, are awesome. They're deep, complicated, and extremely well written. I did run into a few issues with the game, mainly crashes on PC, where I am playing a beta review build of the game, and a bug where one of the very final missions in the main quest for the expansion just didn't seem to want to start. Eventually, after waiting the in-game equivalent of nearly 3 weeks and then just sitting around doing nothing for 35 minutes in real life, it kicked in out of nowhere. Series X, though, had no issues for me. And PC gaming can be a major pain in the ass, so your mileage may vary. It could be great, it could suck. It all depends on your setup, and boy is it hard to figure out. And it's worth noting that while patch 2.0 hits all versions of the game, Phantom Liberty is only releasing on the new generation of consoles and PC. So, how does it all come together? If this is the game that CD Projekt Red had been able to deliver at launch, then it would have been lauded as a Game of the Generation candidate. Cyberpunk already had scope that few games could match. The writing cuts deep, aided by excellent voice acting and incredible music. Patch 2.0 and Phantom Liberty finish off what has been a miraculous comeback story. And while the final score for this is for Phantom Liberty, know that Cyberpunk 27 itself is now a complete and true masterpiece.